Welcome to episode 8 of your Tidy 10 at 10. Today we're going to move along and talk about step 2 or phase 2 of how to talk to your 5 inner children, and that is how to meet the need. So let's just imagine with me now that none of your inner children are in fear. You woke up this morning and everybody was just calm. There was nobody having arguments inside their head, fake arguments between them and other people. None of your inner children were talking about things they were worried about or concerned about. It was just quiet in there. Like, let's imagine for a moment that's how you woke up. You checked in. You're like, wow, say body's good, work's good, home's good, relationship is actually good, and money's good. Like, there is nobody having a conversation, a fearful conversation, or an argumentative conversation, or a worrisome conversation in my head. Good. Everybody is out of fear, because that is the first step. I want to move along. We're going to go back to that phase 1 of how to talk to the inner children, but I want to move along to the other phases, okay? So the second phase is meet the need. And then the third phase is ignite the spark. And the fourth phase is speak it out, okay? Once they're out of fear, and once you've learned how to talk to them and say what they need to hear and just humor them and go along with it, and they get out of fear and they start to relax and they start to trust you, and you wake up one morning and you look around in the car and everybody's just sitting there, just ready to go. Now we can crank the car. Now it's time to go. Now we can start to create a life we want to live instead of just suffering the karmic patterns, suffering the emotional and behavioral patterns of the past, suffering from old wounds. Everybody's out of fear. Everybody's calm. Now we can move along, okay? And we can move along and start meeting their need, all right? And that's just a daily check-in to say, hey, everybody's calm. And, hey, what is it that you need? What do you need? What do you want to experience? And at first, as I've mentioned, it will kind of be a more egoic. You're helping them mature away from being egoic little entities into being more spiritual, higher self type of beings, okay? But at first, what they're going to want and desire in life, the kind of life they're going to want to create, is going to be some egoic things. It just is. And that's okay. Because what happens is, as you start to meet the need, they'll be like, oh, I got that thing. And she's not arguing. She's not saying I can't have that. She's just saying I have to do it in my imagination first and play with it a little bit and see how it feels. And what usually happens, if it's coming from a misaligned place, an egoic place, and it's not in the divine path. Good morning, Kelly. I'm so proud of you, Basement Kelly. She's no longer Basement Kelly, by the way, everybody. She has graduated. She is no longer afraid to look at her stuff. We're in the car. Everybody's calm. That's when I want you to have that visual and look at everybody, put them to work. Okay, everybody, let's get in there and start creating the life that we want to have. Now that we're coming away from the fear, we're coming away from all the patterns, as I mentioned, now let's start to create work. What is it that you want to feel every day? Well, my focus, my target, as I've talked about before, I want it to be fun and easy. Okay, so I'm going to help you have an imagining. Let's imagine. Let's play in the spiritual plane of work that would feel so fun and easy and enjoyable to you. I've done this with my own work, inner child, and it keeps changing. Which means to me, at first she wanted it out of a egoic thing. She used to want fame. And I had a really hard time admitting that to myself because it is so egoic. And it's like, that was her measure. That was her measure of success. But now I let her play with fame inside her head. Like in the imagining, I said, okay, as your caretaker, I'm going to meet your need. You think it's fame. You think it's like once you're all big and well known and everybody loves your stuff, then you're going to enjoy your work. That's what she thought at first. So I said, I didn't argue with that. I said, okay, all right, you play with that. In your imagining, you play with that. I let her imagine big, like whatever famous looks like, I don't know. And she got to this point where she's like, yeah, but if that happens, then I wouldn't have the freedom that I have now. She started to change once she got it. She started to change and be like, you know what? Maybe I just want it to be that I don't have to work unless I want to. Maybe that's the goal. So I give you that example because as you start to meet their need, and if you don't know what that need is, you can go back way to the first episode and write down how they want to feel. That's it. That is meeting the need. And then you take how they want to feel each day in their category. Work, home, body, relationship, money. I'm getting faster at that. You take how they want to feel, and then you play a little show and tell. Either you tell them a fabulous story. These are children. You tell them a fabulous story about how they have this and that. Remember, if they're in fear, they're going to fight, and they're going to be in such resistance that they don't allow you to do this. So they would be like, I don't believe you. Like, you're just telling me stories. You're just using my imagination. I don't believe you. If they're still in that, they are still in fear, which means you'll just have to go work with them a little bit more on helping them calm that and say, you know what, you're right. You're right. They don't trust you yet. They don't trust you to do the show and tell yet and meet the need. So, but say they do, and they're like, ooh, I like that. Tell me more. They're letting it in. They're accepting it. They're letting in this, what you're telling them, and you're really building them up and saying, hey, what do you want? So, is anyone on here want to give me an example? I have two, something that your inner child is wanting, and then I will tell you a little story and we'll have a little show and tell about it. I got 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Anybody? If not, I'm going to make up one. So say your relationship inner child wants, or say your body wants to be wants to be healthy, wants to feel good, wants to be fit. Yeah, Mel, I was reading your mind right there. Like, yes, body wants to be fit. Okay, body, I love that. I love that you want to be fit. Now, you need to pay attention. Like, is it accepting what I'm saying, or is it still resisting? If it's still resisting, it's still in fear. You need to create more trust there, which just means talk to it every day. That's how you create trust. Body, I love that you want to be fit, and I know that if all the other inner children would just let you do your thing, that you would be, like you naturally would be, because that's what you are. Now, I want you to look and imagine yourself at that size and tell me how it feels. Like, really feel it. Look at yourself. Imagine you're standing in front of the mirror, and the reflection that you see is your body in its healthiest, most natural weight state. There you are. Look how beautiful that is. Look how amazing it is. Body, I love you and I accept you just as you are. But I know, because of the side effects of the other inner children being in fear, that body, you have suffered at the hands of these scared inner children. They've used you, and I know that. And I'm here to help you meet your need. And tell me, how does it feel? I need to know how it feels when you are. How do you think you will feel when you are at that weight? Just fabulous. Just proud of myself. I'm proud of my body. I'm proud of how I care for it. I'm proud of how it looks. I'm proud of how I dress it. I'm proud of all the things I do for it. So then I'm going to tell you things. I'm going to tell you how proud I am of you for caring for your body. I'm going to use that word because she wants to feel proud. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for looking the way you do, and for all the other inner children leaving you alone and letting you come back to your natural state of being. So that's just one little example of how to meet the need. We'll be talking more about this. We'll keep going back to phase 1 of calming the fear, because as you're in that road trip of life with these inner children, just because you get them calm doesn't mean they're going to stay calm, okay? They may be calm, and I want you to every morning wake up and see if you can get them out of fear, and then you crank that car, and then you go, and then you start to meet their need, and you ignite the spark, and you really pump them up every day, and then you start to reach that phase 4 of speaking it out. But as you're going in this car on the road trip of life, even if you start out calm, people are going to come up in your awareness. They're going to be looking out the window of the car, and there's going to be things they don't like, okay? There's going to be things that they look at and they're like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't want this happening. That's when you use your hooponopono. I got to go. I can't go over. I love y'all. I'll see you again tomorrow. Read the description box. I now have live group coaching and question and answer. These are longer, more like the lunchtime lives that we used to have, but it's a monthly subscription for $7.99. It is on YouTube, and we'll be meeting every Friday at 10:30 Central Standard Time for these groups. Okay? I love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.